order the Town of Crewe, Virginia's regular council meeting for October 14, 2014. Will we please rise and join with us in the invocation of the flag, led by Ms. Dalton for the invocation and Mr. Bishop for the flag.
Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we begin the opening comments, I would like council to take just a moment to look over a sheet that I have presented to you with a resolution. And if you could, after you've looked over it, if I may have a motion from the council to approve this resolution. Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Sis for approval and a second from Ms. Stinson. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the resolution is passed. This resolution is I think, a really happy time in the life of our employee family here at the town of Crewe. It's an opportunity for the town council to recognize someone who has given us great service. And I'm going to turn this over to the chairperson of our safety committee. And I would like to ask the retired Sergeant Jim Schreck to please rise. And would council mind rising as Mr. Fisher reads this?
I'll do the presentation first, and I'll read the information. It gives me great honor and pleasure to present you this resolution that we have just voted on. We appreciate all your loyal police work over the years for the town of Crewe as well as other organizations. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, the resolution says, whereas Sergeant James A. Jim Schreck began his law enforcement career in 1970 with the Farmville Police Department, and whereas Sergeant James A. Jim Schreck served with the Burkeville Police Department from 1996 to 2001, and whereas Sergeant James A. Jim Schreck was hired as a patrolman with the Crewe Police Department on October 1, 2001, being quickly promoted to sergeant on July 1, 2002, and whereas Sergeant James A. Jim Schreck was honored in 2009 as Officer of the Year, and whereas Sergeant James A. Jim Schreck holds a GED and required credits for an associate's degree in police science and is certified through the Department of Criminal Justice Services as a homicide investigator, and whereas Sergeant James A. Jim Schreck, a member of Farmville Christian Church, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and the Vietnam Veterans of America, is an active member of the regional community, and whereas through his leadership and ethical approach in keeping the town of Crewe and the Commonwealth of Virginia safe, Sergeant James A. Jim Schreck personifies the public safety creed to protect and serve, and whereas Sergeant James A. Jim Schreck, after 44 years of selfless dedication to public safety, has announced his retirement, therefore be it resolved that the Crewe Town Council and the Mayor do hereby congratulate Sergeant James A. Jim Schreck on his retirement, calling upon all the citizens of the town of Crewe to recognize Sergeant Schreck for his commitment to making Virginia a safer place to live, work, and raise a family, and be it resolved further that the clerk of the town of Crewe prepare a copy of this resolution for the presentation to Sergeant James A. Jim Schreck as an expression to the town council and the mayor's respect for his service. Congratulations.
Thank you. I really appreciate this. Y'all went above and beyond. Thank you so much.
Thank
you. Deserve it.
We think you have gone above and beyond your call of duty, because we know how much you have chipped in when the police department has had voids in the coming and going of various officers and all, and you always stepped up to the rank and carried us through. Thank you so much, and have a very blessed retirement.
Well, thank you so much. I'm going to try my best.
And we appreciate you coming this evening.
Thank you.
You bringing in chocolate chip cookies?
Not today.
Don't be a stranger.
I ate them all.
Okay, moving on. Delegation from the public and citizens' comments. Do we have anyone who'd like to say anything? For those of you, when you look around, I'd like to welcome our police chief's son here tonight. I understand that he likes civics and all, and this is a good place to see the very primitive best of what, government is all about before it gets into all that political partyship and all, where you see the citizens that you live by, working to make the town better. So we thank you for coming, and we hope you'll come back. All right, moving on. Anyone else? Would anyone like to say anything? Okay, the consent calendar. Matters of the consent calendar are considered routine and will be approved by one motion. Any item can be removed from the calendar at the request of a member of council and may be voted on separate. You have been given 2 additional sheets. When you looked at the minutes of the regular town council meeting held on Monday, September 8, 2014, the synopsis of the town manager's report was left out, and that's what you have been handed. Then you have also included in the packet the minutes of the work session held on September 22nd, 2014. The minutes of the special meeting that was briefly held on September 29th to reconfirm the bond issue so that we could close on the sewer project. And you have the bill sheet. The original bill sheet showed $94,837.62, but we have an addition of $24,306.62, bringing the total of the bill sheet to $119,144.24. Okay, if you'd like to take a moment before we make a motion on this. We're glad to accept a motion anytime you are ready.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent calendar with all the additions to the minutes and the treasurer's report.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Fisher for approval of the consent calendar with the additions. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, it has been seconded by Mr. Simpson. It has been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Okay, the consent calendar is approved. Okay, moving right along, town manager's report.
Just a couple of things. Believe it or not, the sewer project is underway. It's started, but hasn't started in earnest yet. You may see some tri-state utilities in the area marking sewer manholes. We've got a set that's got to come in and take those up, and then they'll be the ones that start in on the line. And, so we did get everything done. We got everything signed. We're good to go. I've been talking about it now for a year. It's started. Last year, you may recall that we had to clean one of our lagoons at the water plant. These lagoons, there's 2 of them. When they backwash filters, some of you know this, but the backwash and the debris that comes out of the lake is transferred into these lagoons where it
settles as a solid. Over a period of a few days, it settles, and then we drain the clear water off the lagoon, the top of the lagoon, and discharge it into a discharge creek. Perfectly legal, everything's fine. Over a period of time, these lagoons will fill up with debris, or solids, if you will, and we have to have them cleaned. Because of our aggressive treatment process that we're going through now, there appears to be more debris, I'll say, than there has been in the past. It's also got color to it now with the use of carbon that has greatly enhanced our water. It's black, so it's noticeable. If we happen to get too low in that lagoon and we start pumping the carbon, you see it in the creek. It's not a serious environmental issue, but it is something that the DEQ does not like. And so we've got to, long story short, we've got to have the other lagoon cleaned now. I've got it lined up for about 2 weeks from now. The company comes in and basically sucks out the sludge and carries it off and disposes of it in a proper way. What we're going to do from now on in the next year's budget, we're going to rotate these lagoons and clean one every 5 years and budget for them. So we've got a couple of areas that we can take. First of all, the cost, around $20,000 is the estimate. Sometimes it's less. I think it will be less, but that's what we paid last time. But they're going to use a different process that I'm told will not be as expensive as the last time. We've got a couple of, we did some budgeting for some water line replacement, water line reserve, and also we put some money in this year for water tank reserve, about $20,000 in each of those areas. We could take that out of a combination of or one of those areas. We also have 2 reserve funds, water tank reserve fund and a water sewer tap fee reserve fund. And we could take this out of if we wanted to just go ahead and not take it out of the other fund and not change anything. So sometime between now and the time we have to pay for that, I might sit down on finance and we'll talk about exactly where we feel like that needs to come out. I just wanted to know that that was going on and it has to be done. So, I quickly mentioned leaf season. We're going to start leaf season tentatively around the first week of October 27th, which is Halloween week. We typically like to do that before Halloween. Try to get the streets as clean as possible. Depends on how it's looking right now. It doesn't appear to me the leaves are falling that much. So but we may do it anyway. And the reason we use a date to try to figure it is, again, as most of you know, we have to retrofit those trucks from debris to leaf. And so we kind of have to cut off the debris pickup. So I encourage everybody to go ahead and take advantage of that between now and then. If you've been putting off your yard work, cutting your limbs, and you go ahead and get it done. And the other thing I'd like to remind everybody, which is another issue that we seem to have a lot of, is the leaves go in front of the house. The debris goes in the alleys, with the exception of Virginia Avenue residents. If leaves are put in the alley, we won't pick them up. So I'm gonna do a code red. We're gonna put it out in the paper, try to be a little more explicit about those instructions, because I see a whole lot of people who started doing either or both. And the reason we do that is because of the way the vehicles and the machines are set up to pick up. So wanted to bring that to your attention. Of course, we will pick up leaves in the alleys if they're bagged, if they're boxed, and if they're placed beside a receptacle. Some people choose to do that, to bag them and set them beside the garbage. That's fine. We'll pick those up. I think that's all. Something something I want to consider. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I wanted to run it by council. Surveillance at the town shop. We have no security other than an occasional pass-through by the police, either getting fuel or on patrol. And with the work that's going to be going on in the next year and the equipment that's going to be sitting down there, I'd like to look into the possibility of getting some surveillance cameras up down there. I think we've been lucky so far. I guess I don't know if it's a premonition or what, but trying to be proactive before something happens. At least we would have a way. We've got gas pumps down there. We've got opportunities for people to probably, professional thief would not have any trouble at all getting in any of our buildings. And we've got some expensive equipment. There's also a possibility that, and again, we've been lucky, we hadn't had any vandalism that I'm aware of. So, but I would like to look into that. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate other than maybe a couple of cameras, one on the gas pumps and one on the shop, tied to some type of recording device that could be reviewed in case we need to do that. So it's open down there. It's not locked. People can come and go pretty much as they want to. So if I can, I'd like to maybe look into some pricing on that type of thing. I just think I feel more comfortable we had it, and especially with these contractors and all, they'll be storing a lot of equipment and stuff down in there. And although we're not responsible and it's very clear, I just felt like it's something we ought to consider.
Are there any other areas in town, any town-owned buildings that we would want to also have some sort of security, maybe outside the town office or over at the airport?
Airport's got it. It's got some. I can't think of anything else. Railroad Museum has their own. So that would pretty much be it, other than the library. Well, you see more and more, I mean, you people watching news, and unfortunately, they're catching a lot of stuff going on with these surveillance cameras. And, I know we're small with Crewe, but it could happen. And, I just feel like it's something to think about.
Is there any more lighting that we might need?
Yes. We've talked about that a couple of times. The chief and I both had discussed lighting in certain areas, and we feel like we probably got adequate lighting in a lot of areas if we can just get service. We can get Dominion and get out here and clean them and put new bulbs in and that type of thing. It used to be done routinely every year, and for some reason it stopped. So we pay for each and every one of those lights. So we ought to be able to try to get them serviced. We've even serviced a few of them on our own and got yelled at about it because they're not our lights. You don't need to be touching those lights. So yeah, and there are some areas probably that we could look at adding some.
What about the town shop that maybe motion, since if you put cameras, you're gonna have to have light?
Yeah, there's some motion lights down there now. I'm just looking into it, so I don't really, it's just a thought right there. I don't propose spending a fortune on an elaborate system, but I just think, I don't know why, I just feel like it's something that we ought to think about. That's all right.
Do you need a motion for the lagoon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
So, do we want to, make a motion for the cleaning of the lagoon?
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Fisher moved that, the, town manager proceed with cleaning of the lagoon. May I have a second on the motion?
Second that.
Okay, Mr. Knight. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Any other questions from the town manager?
My usual things, except for, well, usual being taxes, Daryl's buildings, the sewage line closed. Yay, so that was so exciting. And we've been working on that for a very long time, so that was definitely good news. One thing I did want to remind you all of, is that we do need to advertise for a public hearing for next month for any Christmas bonuses that the town is planning to give. Because we have to pass an ordinance that authorizes the bonuses pursuant to the state code.
We have to do that every year.
Yes, every year. Yep. So, and I tried to do it, around this time every year, do it in November so that, it wouldn't be a crunch in December. So, that's all I have, so if you all, want to go ahead and give me permission to draft the advertisement and advertise for a public hearing in November for that, feel free to do so.
Well, Mayor, I would move that we allow the attorney to draft a ordinance for Christmas bonuses pursuant to our budget, whatever we budgeted, and advertise a public hearing to that extent.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to allow the town attorney to draft a notice for a public hearing for the bonuses that would be given at Christmas for the November meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, it has been moved to second. All those in favor, by aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you all, that concludes my report.
I want to add too that on the signing of the bond issues and all, it took a long time. It was so exciting, but it was just a long time. Mr. Mason was so kind to sit there through the whole procedure. It was rather quiet and all, but it was very exciting to know what had taken, and the process of almost 10 years had come to that particular time and that day for that
I
to
told
start.
Mr. Gunner it was very anticlimactic. It felt like it should be bands.
Yes, or confetti to come down in the.
Firecrackers.
Yes.
It was real quiet.
I should have brought the confetti down.
No, then we'd have to clean it up, so. Anybody else have any questions for the town attorney? Thank you. Okay, moving on to our committee reports. Community development.
Well, the surveys have had interesting results. You get all opinions, all different opinions from the public, and I've been pleased that I've been able to distribute about 2/3 of my allotted area and have had good response, which I was pleased with. And so we'll see how that all goes. I will complete it. I think the deadline was November 1, wasn't it?
Third.
That we were hoping for, okay. All right, then, it's almost like you all were talking about, you wait and you wait and you wait, and the Lipscomb Stratton project is supposed to be signed on Thursday, at 11 o'clock at the library here. And so this is the area that I got a heavy response, perhaps 20 out of 35 or 33 houses down there. So they have lots of opinions and some interesting ones. And so I'm looking forward to that, the results of that. And I'm also looking forward, perhaps I will have confetti on Thursday with a vacuum cleaner. But yes, it's a happy thing because with the government you do wait long periods of time for results of things. But you want to reach people as best you can and get their input as well as their complaints. So I'm eager for Thursday.
I am too. And even the day, they kept changing the time.
That's right.
The peaks and valleys. Any questions? Community development? Thank you. Economic development.
Thank you, Mayor. Got quite a few things to cover, so I'll be brief with everything. The as council will recall, we recorded our first meeting last meeting and posted on YouTube. As of last count, I took a count late last weekend, and we had, I believe, 119 views. That means 119 more people are watching their government in action than would otherwise be able to. That's huge. That's great. We're recording this. We recorded the Grocery Community Collaborative meeting. And I understand that the town of Blackstone, our neighbors to the east of us, are geography. Our neighbors to the east are also discussing the issue, whether or not to record their meetings and put it on their local channel or on YouTube. So we're also trendsetters. I attended the VML conference last week. It was another great event. While there, I was actually asked to present on our HEAL initiative. So I presented with a few other individuals on healthy eating, active living, specifically in a rural location like we have. And I attended a variety of different sessions, some of which I gave everyone information about. There, you have in your packet information on the VML legislative agenda, as well as other potential ideas that we can discuss at a later date. Speaking of the Grocery Community Collaborative, that was we had that event 2 weeks ago or so here, and it was a good event. Solid attendance, not great attendance, but solid attendance, and great attendance by some of our businesses. A&J Produce was here, Crewe Seafood, Crewe Station, and Booker's were all represented here. So we got to sit down and actually drill down on some of the real issues. Not, okay, we don't have something, but rather, what is it that we're missing because we don't have that, and how can we fix those issues? And how can we tap into our local businesses and promote them in order to better the town, better them, and better everyone as a result. So that was a great meeting. I've got another step 2 that I'm working on with the high school marketing department. We'll go from there. The YMCA meeting was the week before that. That was, again, another great attended meeting. I think we had about 30 people or so. Some good response from that. I know the local Lions Club has invited one of the Y reps to talk about their diabetes prevention program. They're also presenting specifically on the diabetes prevention program here on December 9th at 6 o'clock. Don't quote me on the time. But that's December 9th here. So mark down your calendar if you're interested in the YMCA's diabetes prevention program. Also, speaking of health-related things, on November 1st, Saturday, November 1st, the HEAL Committee, in cooperation with the police department and some other organizations, will be hosting a health fair at the Nottoway High School mini auditorium. We're still in the planning stage of that. We have a HEAL meeting to schedule to talk more about that next week. But again, that'll be from 11 to 3 at the Nottoway High School mini auditorium. Now, you're going to ask, why is that at the Nottoway High School mini auditorium rather than in the town of Crewe? That's because we're doing it in conjunction with another event called a Touch-a-Truck. And a Touch-a-Truck is it's something that's been popular in I know Richmond, and I think Charlotte has one. And essentially, different law enforcement, different organizations bring their big, fancy trucks and cars and park them out and have someone stand outside, and kids get to come and look at them and crawl in them and play with them and all that. So Investigator Turner and I are working on that event, which again is scheduled for Saturday, November 1st from 11 to 3 and that'll be in the student parking lot of Nottoway High School. So looking forward to that event. should bring out some good, a good crowd, and with that younger crowd, the parents that bring them can then stop by, go to the health fair, and get their health checked. Just some events coming up. There's a lot of them. The Chamber Banquet will be on the 14th of November at 6 o'clock. That's a Friday. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, the town of Burkeville will be having a meet and greet for their candidates, much like we had here. So feel free to go out there and support our neighbors to the west. The town of Burkeville, that's at 7 o'clock at their fire department. Our second major employer roundtable is scheduled for next Monday. The 14th already, look at that. Next Monday, the 20th at 5:30 here. That's our second major employer roundtable. I mentioned our HEAL committee will be meeting next week. That's on Wednesday at 5:30 at the airport. And be sure to come out for the second Business Appreciation Day downtown. That's going to be on Friday the 31st and Saturday, November 1st. I don't have those times on me, but be sure to check your email. I'll be sending out a town email regarding all of that.
The chamber sent one out.
The chamber also sent one out, absolutely. I think that's it for me.
What was the chamber meeting?
The chamber banquet will be at the community center. Community center. Oh, and just one more thing regarding YouTube. It looked great editing it, and you could basically hear everything. I know there was an issue about sound quality. The only thing I would say is you hear on there exactly what you would hear if you were standing in the back. And some people are harder to hear, so I would again just recommend that you speak up so that people in the back and people watching at home can hear us all.
But the nice thing about watching at home is that you have a volume control on whatever you're
Oh,
watching
absolutely.
on, so they're able
Right, so they
to
can
turn
turn me
it
down
on.
and turn up others. There we go, put me on mute.
Any questions for the Economic Development Chairperson? Thank you, Bill. Okay. Facilities, Parks and Recreation.
Facilities are going fine. Phil and I will sit down and have a meeting and see what we got to work on the airport building, cleaning the bathroom, stuff like that. Some things need to be straightened up around there, maybe get some paint on the walls. That's about it for facilities. But the Parks and Recs, everything's going good. Tammy's going to start decorating the park for this year, starting every Saturday, I think, this week.
First Saturday in November.
There you go. So anybody can show up and help. I know she said we're gonna get the football team and all that stuff out there to help them do it again this year. They did a great job last year. Jamie Higgins, of course, is gonna do the trees again this year, so if anybody wants to recognize a loved one that they have lost or still have, but they wanna recognize them, get in touch with him and get a tree donated to them in their honor. Other than that, that's about it. That's all that's going on.
Any questions, comments?
So it looks like they're raking over there, have they, or is it my imagination, up where the memorial was planned? We had discussed the.
Yeah, we got in touch with the people at the memorial, and they know that we're willing to help them. That's about all the information I got. That's all they wanted to say.
There was a there was a long piece in the newspaper too that came out of that next week with their intentions. But the town, due to some safety, did some extra putting of soil on top of those holes because.
So there
some of
has
them-
been, I thought I'm
Yeah.
kind of watching as I go on. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Finance.
I reviewed all the bills and everything's in order.
Okay. We thank you because we know that does take time and nice when we finally get a procedure
They don't
down.
come in at one time.
No. Just like home. You think you've got it paid and there's one more shows up. Okay, Public Works and Infrastructure. Robbie's not here. Okay, personnel.
Well, first of all, once again, Sergeant Schreck, thank you for your dedicated service, and don't be a stranger to Crewe.
I
Always
have.
enjoy seeing you. And other good news, I compliment Chief Booth on getting interviews organized for the various openings we have, and I felt like we had very viable candidates, which is good news for the town. No matter what choices are made, the resumes that I saw were excellent, and we had some real good people show interest in our positions.
Okay, and along with that, we will go into closed session during our business meeting, you know, to further discuss personnel. Any other questions? Okay, public safety. Mr. Fisher?
I don't have anything to report. Everything on the fire and rescue side of business as usual, or business as usual, whichever way you want to put it. And the rest of it, as far as the police part, I will let the chief of police handle it in here.
Okay, we will go back to our town and Crewe comprehensive plan update.
Well, as we were talking about briefly, our surveys are coming in. We have some at the, we put them at key businesses. We're distributing them in neighborhoods, different council people. As Dalton reported, she's gotten a good supply, and I have them right here. Kelly Hatcher has kindly offered assistance from her office, and so we think that that's the avenue we'll take to get our data all together so that we have an accurate accounting of the responses so that we can go from there. So we're making progress.
Any questions? Okay, moving on, police chief's report.
I just have a couple of things. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but our new patrol car is sitting up in the parking lot. It's Ford this time, and shied away from the Dodges. Hopefully within the next month and a half, it'll be fully equipped. It will be a marked unit and be on the road. The second thing I have is we discussed the in-car cameras last year, and we have secured the Burn Justice Assistant Grant again this year, and I would like to take that money to purchase one in-car camera to put in the white unmarked Dodge that Investigator Turner usually patrols in. The grant along with the match is $43.36. The match for the grant is $434, and I've discussed it with Mr. Walker, and we have the match in our budget to cover the match in a line item. The total cost of the camera is $48.20. So basically, the town would need to, I would need to come up with $1,168 out of my budget to purchase the camera. I've spoken with Mr. Walker about it. We believe we can do it without going over budget, but I wanted to get council's approval before we did anything.
Didn't we budget for cameras in all the cars in the last budget session?
This, with the purchase of this camera, every car would have a camera except for my car. And then I'll be back next year, get this grant again, to try to get one put in my car. And then all of them will be done. Like with the new patrol car, we added that into the cost of the car, and that's what we'll do from here on out. So we'll always have a camera put in.
They have been beneficial.
Yes, they have.
Anything else?
That's it?
Did you want to say anything about the decals?
Oh, yes. I think it was brought up in the work session about the graphics on the police cars. they're moldy pretty bad. We've been going back and forth through email. Right now, it sounds pretty positive that they're going to replace them. We're just waiting for the final okay. The company that we ordered them through, orders them through another company. So they said that they believe they should be replaced. Now, they're going to the company they got them from, and they'll get back to us, hopefully within the next week or two. We'll know one way or the other what they're gonna do. They did say they've never seen those graphics mold like that, ever. So it's looking pretty promising, just keeping fingers crossed.
I think in our work session, some of us, and I will say, I was under the assumption that the people that had installed them had provided them, and that's why I was asking for warranty work, because I know that this was a very reputable dealership that did the work. So, you know, it was interesting then to find out that it was the actual decals, not the preparation of putting them on.
Right.
But we didn't stop there.
That's right.
Yeah, so, you know. At this time, would council like to consider about the additional camera for the police car?
I make a motion we approve the match on the $4,820. The match would be $1,168 to purchase the camera for the car. Police
Okay.
car.
We have a motion for the additional police camera for the patrol car to the $1,168 from the budget. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by yes.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
All right.
I have
Anybody-
a question,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is there an update on the body cameras for the officers?
No,
Okay, thank you.
I will have one by next council.
Okay.
You know, I hear that in the morning on the news with all the goings on about police body cameras and all, so. Okay, mayor's report. Mine is sort of just quite a few thank yous, but I'm going back to our economic development chairperson is that when I was reviewing my minutes, I noticed that there was a little small section that was missing in our minutes. So I went back, because I was determined not to look at myself on YouTube. And I sat down and I listened, and I was so impressed about what quality that tripod and the camera provided, and what information that you know was out there. I would say to those of you that are in the audience, like they say at church, our church sermon and program is on the radio on Sunday, but it's always nice to be in the house. So we appreciate the citizens actually, you know, coming into the building here and participating in our meetings. But it is good that you're able to, from your home, you know, or wherever you have a computer or smartphone, that you can just go on YouTube and do the meeting. And I also did the grocery store program, because I thought they were very informative. You know, if I hadn't been to both meetings, I felt like I would have really, you know, gotten the information firsthand and been able to form my own opinion of what was going on. So I want to thank you. And I got a call from Blackstone about the how did we do it, and I was just so impressed, you know, was so impressed to say, well, I'm not exactly sure, but it was just simply a tripod and a camera and YouTube. So I want to thank the initiative for you all who have gone ahead and started this. I also want to take some time to thank some people, just the same as our economic development chairman did, but I want to recognize Bill Fastback here, who is the president of the Crewe Burkeville Chamber. You do a wonderful job of sending out email, no matter what event and all. That is a plus to all the, you know, businesses of town and all. That is just a real big help, and that's a plus from the chamber. I appreciate that. You know, I got one today on the upcoming customer appreciation. It's a way to stay informed and all, and it's instant, and it's just, you know, like the instantness of the whole world. It's an instantness of what we can have brought to the citizenry around our community and to the businesses. And thank you. I appreciate that, and I hope that's something that will continue on until the next best thing comes along that we're not even thinking about of getting communication out there. Another thing, AJ Produce, Crewe Station, and Booker's. I know we didn't have, it wasn't filled to capacity in here the night of the meeting about the grocery store, but these businesses that came in here answered questions of whatever was asked of them on markup of prices, what they carry, what they would be willing to carry, what they would be willing to do, such as transportation, getting food out to people and all, what they're willing to do. It was so impressive to hear them and to be, and the citizens that were here, you know, to have input to them and all. And I think this is what the community is all about, and how we grow within. And I thank them, and I thank both Steve and Phil for your all's efforts in putting this together. I just think that was a very big step. And for those of you who missed it, it's right on YouTube. You can listen to it. And these will be on for a period of time, right? They won't be taken down. Yeah, there's like things that you don't want on there, might on there forever. At least these are. I'd like to remind you about the open house for the renovation for the library. This coming Friday, October 17th. I talked to Sally Todd Mayton, the president, and I told her that I would again remind you all 2:30 to 5:30. This group of individuals, which some of us are a part of and all, have really put in a lot of effort over the several years and all, and to see the fruits of their labor is just wonderful. And come have a glass of punch. It just is a nice time to celebrate what has happened in our community and what citizens coming together can achieve. I don't know, and I hate if you've gotten this mailing. I don't know what mailings you get, but I thought this was very important due to they just had the VML conference. But there is a dinner in Farmville, October 30th. It is $35, and the VML is coming to something like 6 or 8 different communities throughout the state of Virginia. And I tell you, when it comes as close as Farmville, the closest I've ever gone was Appomattox, I think. And they will be reviewing, I think on the letter I got was like 18 items and all, but it's a chance to, you know, sit down and have dinner. You can go online and register, but I will be checking with you. I know the 30th is coming quicker than we realize it, but I will check with each one of you and see if you are interested in going, that maybe we can carpool and all. And it starts at, I'm not sure, I didn't write that down. I want to say 6:30 and all, but I thought that this was an opportunity to where we weren't having to all go off, you know, and spend nights and all away. I want to encourage everybody in this room to fill out that town survey. You know, sometimes we become so involved in it we forget to fill it out. You know, please do that. Then there has been across the state, the Virginia Department of Transportation has been having programs on the revised 6-year plan. If you go on their website, the deadline is October 30th. You can still submit, and I wanted you to know this, that you can still submit recommendations to them about this, you know, and that it is on their website where you can say, you know, the town of Crewe needs thus and so. And all. I know we've talked about having Mr. Moman come and visit with us and sitting down and talking, but this is the statewide, that if you sit down with your computer or something while you're watching TV, or just taking a deep breath after everything, other activities that you all have participated in, that you can put some input in there. That is my conclusion. If you have any questions, we've all been very busy, and I'm real pleased about that. I think it's been productive activities we've been participating in. Do you have any other questions? Okay, new business. And I have down there Christmas parade. It's coming fast. So I wanted input from the council if we want to participate in the Christmas parade and how we want to. Steve?
I'm down for it. Do it every year, the last two.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, Wade.
Okay, it's coming quicker than we realize.
What is the date?
The date is the 4th of December. And that's what I'm saying, that it is really coming quickly. In the past years, I guess it's been 4 years that we've participated over the ones that it's, the Ronnie Daniels has been pretty good about giving us a flatbed. I have some decorations from years before. Would somebody like to head this up? Do I have a volunteer?
Wait, you don't want me to do it.
I made brownies last year.
I second Friday night.
Well, but tonight, we'll have some times together and all, but tonight, we do want to proceed with it, right?
Yes.
Okay, and all that, I will not let you forget it, don't worry, me and Christmas. Okay, the second thing is identification badges for the council, and this was a suggestion that was coming to me. I do not have anything specific in mind. I know the police, I look over and see our chief with his name on there, and of course he has his badge on. I know that I feel like that this council is getting out more and more and more with the citizenry, which I feel is what we're supposed to do. I think, that I remember last year, you and I were at something, and you had come back from legislative day in Richmond, and you were so proud of what did, yes, I remembered that.
Good idea.
And I'm wondering if we would like to maybe think about, we don't have to decide tonight, but, would you all be interested in pursuing some type of official, some type of identification that we could wear, whether it be lanyard type, that like Piedmont, and we see that it would have our picture, maybe the town seal, and it'd be laminated. I mean, it could be even something we end up making, my daughter's scrapbooks, but something that would be uniform, that would show who we are when we approach people. I know we have our business cards, but something that would, identify us a little more.
This would have been helpful as I went from door to door taking the surveys, because it looks more official. You're knocking on somebody's door, and they're coming to the door. Hello, I've got this I want you to fill out. Well, who are you and what are you doing? And like you said, the business card I attached with each one of them. But, yeah, you're speaking of the ribbon. Like
Right, with a lanyard type, or, or it could be, I wanted to keep the cost of very minimum, because we do not have in our budget and all, something like that, but something that would identify us as town council, who we were, with our picture, that would make it a little more professional when you met the citizenry. I mean, how do you feel we need to pursue that?
I think it's a great idea, like like a name tag.
It could be a name tag or a type of name tag on a lanyard or something. I just have not pursued it, but thought that I wanted to, ask you if you would like to.
A name tag, but as she mentioned, would have your picture on it, which is like a cross check. And I say that because there's more attention to knocking on somebody's door. You're not invading their home, but you're getting close. And you're asking them to pay attention, and if you've got something with your picture and who you are, they can make that.
Are we talking about name tags or ID cards?
Well, like,
Probably.
There's a difference. I have some catalogs if you're interested.
Now,
I was thinking of something that you would actually have on your person that they could see,
Right,
not take out.
I think just a like a magnetic name tag that you can put on would be great. But I would also recommend that we look at ID cards for our town employees and for all of us. Because if you go, say, overnight somewhere for on-town business, most hotels have local government rates, but we have no way of proving
Unless
that
we
we're
take
local government.
our big piece of paper that we
Exactly.
received when we were sworn in.
Right, exactly. And I know the county has just decided on getting identification cards, so we may want to talk to them as well about that sort of thing.
So the council would be interested in pursuing. Okay. All right. New business, any other new business?
Did I mention the supervisors meeting?
No, you did not.
Okay, one thing that I forgot to mention during my report, the supervisors for District 2 and District 3, that's Helen Simmons and our supervisor, Gary Simmons, not related, will be having a meeting for the community on the 21st, Tuesday the 21st, at Crewe Primary at 7 p.m. That's Districts 2 and 3, Helen Simmons and Gary Simmons. So we should all make a point to try to go to that. I know when they did it last year, it actually fell on, I believe this, our October meeting, because we moved it for the holiday.
October 20th.
Yes, October 21st at Crewe Primary at 7 p.m. And just watch the paper to verify. I was just talking to Helen yesterday, but that's what she told me.
And the purpose of that meeting is to seek input or?
Exactly, input from residents. They don't, well, just input from residents.
Okay, any other new business? Moving on to continuing business.
Mayor, we've discussed before, and it's included on the town website that we're going to be doing it. I just wanted to make sure that everyone's okay with it. Now that we've passed the first quarter of the current fiscal year, I'd like to put the quarterly budget up on the town website so that citizens have a easily accessible opportunity to find out where we spent our money, where we spent their money. So essentially, it would just be a document similar to what we get. I'd work with Tiffany to get that in a PDF and just post it on the website. Make ourselves a little more transparent.
Any comments from council?
Go for it.
I'm Mr. Chairman, okay with that? Perfect.
Okay. Anything else on continuing?
And the garbage cans, have we?
We talked about that in the work session, and I do not think we
Have
came
a
to
draft yet? Okay,
right.
perfect.
We have not come to a conclusion. I talked to Sheriff, or excuse me, Police Chief Booth, and we.
Congratulations.
We, in order to enforce it, we really need to have coding such on our trash cans so that the police can issue, we need to have an ordinance set up to issue summons when there are situations, you know, more. So until we get all this together in another work session or two, I would hate to just unveil parts.
Right.
Because I think the citizenry are all trying to decide what do we need now, what to do. So I would rather not keep giving them piecemeal pieces until we have the whole the whole, trash can situation planned out. Okay. Any addition to that?
I would just request when you are, do have it, I could just review it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
In the audience have anything to say briefly before we go into a closed session? We thank you for coming, and we appreciate, we don't want to put anybody on the spot. At this time, I would like a motion to go into a closed session for personal matters, section 2.2-3711A1.
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we go into a closed meeting for personnel matters, section 2.2-3711A1. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, in open session, we need to certify that the closed session complied with the act by roll call vote. That the meeting was held for the purpose of personnel matters, and that while in closed session, only those matters identified in the motion to hold a closed meeting were discussed. And the roll call, I'll start with Ms. Dalton. Mr. Sis?
Aye.
Mr. Fisher?
Aye.
Ms. Stinson? Aye. Mr. Simpson?
Aye.
Mr. Malkovich?
Close enough.
Okay, we're now back in open session. Okay, any motions on the floor?
I'd like to make a motion that we promote Ronnie Height from patrol into sergeant's position as previously discussed.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to promote Ronnie Height to the position of sergeant of the town of Crewe Police Force. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded, Ms. Stinson. Those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion's carried.
Mayor, I would also move that we hire Charles Kinchelow and Caleb Lafferty as full-time officers for the police department.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to hire Mr. Kinslow and Mr. Lafferty,
Close.
full-time police officers for the town of Crewe.
Can I add something to that? A conditional employment offer.
I would amend my motion to say it's a conditional offer of employment for these two individuals based on the conditions set forth by the chief.
Okay, is there a second on this conditional motion?
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded on the motion to a conditional hirings of Lafferty and Kinchlow for the town of Crewe Police Force. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. The motion has carried. Any other motions?
Oh, that's right. I would move that we promote Tiffany as clerk, to the position of clerk.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor to promote Tiffany Dumont to the clerk of the town of Crewe. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Fisher has seconded. Okay, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Before we close out, do we need to have a roll call on that?
Not that I'm aware of, but it may be a good idea just to be 100% and to make it clear for the record that,
There's an extension.
Okay,
that there's an
okay. Ms. Dalton, how do you vote? Mr. Sis, how do you vote?
No vote.
Mr. Fisher, how do you vote?
Yes,
Ms. Stinson? Yes. Mr. Simpson?
Yes.
Mr. Malkovich? I'm so sorry.
Yes.
The motion is.
He needs a badge.
That's why she wants the badge.
You don't want to.
That's why she wants
So before I ask for an adjournment, I have, for our next work session, October 27th, 2014, I have the figures for the existing pay rate of our water customers. At this next work session, Mike Wilson from Hurt and Profit will be here to explain these numbers. If you look at them before and you have a significant question a week before, you can contact the town manager and he will let Mike know. I find it very confusing, that's why we haven't given it out before. I think you need his input on this. But I do want you to have a chance to look over. I think there is an additional document, but I did not have that printed out yet. It may be, you know, we'll put it in your box. But this will answer the question of how much each customer, depending on their water usage, is actually being used, and where our finances are arrived from. Anybody have anything else before I call for an adjournment? Okay, may I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved?
Okay, we have a motion, second?
Second.